Hey everybody, it's Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. Hope you're having a good day. Hope your week is off to a great start. We've got a lot of fun news pieces to kick off the week here. A lot of different angles and different perspectives too. We have news out of Apple officially talking about what they will no longer support in terms of the App Store, in terms of cryptocurrency mining. We're going to take a look at that. Of course, the big news of the day, probably the biggest story, is Coinbase's new listing, which is Ethereum Classic. We're going to take a look at that story. Binance is in the news. They're talking about their plans and their development as it's coming along. They're obviously the biggest exchange in terms of trade volume. We're going to take a look at updates with Binance. But we're beginning here with an article by Licia on altcoinbuzz.io. Rigging votes. Forget about it. Switzerland to test blockchain voting. Really cool development here, and something that is quite intrepid. It's revolutionary in terms of its potential. So very good news for democracy, bad news for those trying to undermine it, corrupt politicians. The Swiss Crypto Valley, the canton of Zug, I'll have to ask Licia, will allow its residents to partake in a blockchain-based vote this month. The Swiss city wants to find out whether this technology is applicable on a national level, writes swissinfo.ch. So what you have here is between June 25th and July 1st, residents of Zug will take part in the first municipal blockchain test vote. And we're going to kind of roll it out and see what happens and get a feel for the technology. So it's going to answer the question of whether they support fireworks at an annual lakeside festival. Nothing too heavy, but again, I think the idea here is that this is a stress test. It's a demo of the technology to see how people respond to it, to see how it performs. Besides, the voters will decide whether the blockchain-based digital ID system should be applied during future referendums, more importantly. So there's all kinds of different information on this, and you can take a deeper dive into the details here. But it's important to note that Zug is renowned for its friendly climate towards several blockchain startups and accepts payments worth a maximum of Swiss francs, 200 Swiss francs for government services in Bitcoin since 2016. Pretty encouraging, if I do say so myself. It's a very democratic country, Switzerland is. It's also very responsive to public sentiments. So in 2017 alone, writes Licia, it held 7 referendums, which are a yes or a no vote. And previously, the Swiss were asked whether they fancy the idea of turning their financial system into that which resembles the Bitcoin economic system. And although this did not get voted in as a new initiative, around 25% of those polled, so 500,000, actually did support the idea. So you guys can only just imagine the potential this kind of revolution has in terms of democracy. Cryptocurrency, right? Currency is only one aspect of crypto, is only one aspect of blockchain technology. It has many, many other applications. And I've been saying for a while that voting and the democratic process is probably more important than, for blockchain than crypto is, because it just makes everything transparent. Everything is instantly accountable. Everything is guaranteed to work. It's something that cannot be hacked. So the potential is huge there for countries having crises of confidence when it comes to their democratic system. So you can take a look here, swissinfo.ch, Crypto Valley Zug to trial blockchain voting, and another article. Zug first to accept Bitcoin for government services. One more, 154,000 to use e-voting from next year. And from Forbes, almost 500,000 people in Switzerland voted for a Bitcoin-like financial system. That's a lot of people. And finally, votation numéro 618, résultats finaux officiels provisoires. Yes, I speak French. So do be sure to check out these links. We're going to include them in the description below. In other news, cryptocurrency mining applications will not be coming to Apple's App Store. Article by Garrett. So last week, Apple updated their App Store review guidelines, adding new rules regarding cryptocurrency mining. The new rules include a blanket ban on all cryptocurrency mining software on Apple's App Store. So this ban was brought about after the popular Calendar 2 app added an optional Monero miner in the update. So the whole thing basically that Apple is saying is that because this was a mining service that actively used the processing power of the device, it was disallowed. So they said apps should not rapidly drain battery, generate excessive heat, or put unnecessary strain on-device resources. In Apple's view, cryptocurrency mining violates all three of these. Now look guys, here's where I get opinionated. I am not a fan of Apple. I find them to be one of the most hypocritical corporations in the world. So this is all well and good when another app, a third party basically has a system that you can voluntarily install, voluntarily use. But when that rapidly drains your battery, generates excessive heat, or puts unnecessary strain on your device resources, Apple bans it. Yeah, Apple is the company that was outed for intentionally putting out updates that drained your phone's battery faster, that basically rendered your device obsolete. And they did that, they synchronized it with their release of new hardware. They do that every year. So these guys are at the height of hypocrisy, in my opinion. Rant over, but that's just my perspective. So you can read more about this. There's updates in their app guidelines that we're going to link to. Apps, including any third-party advertisements displayed within them, may not run unrelated background processes such as cryptocurrency mining. There are further details here that Garrett writes about. And for example, you can have apps that avail themselves of cloud mining services. But if it's something that's happening in phone that's using the device's processing power, then that's what they're aiming to ban. So it'll be interesting to see what this means for currencies such as Electroneum, which offer simulated mining. And there are perhaps a couple of gray areas. But that's the official stance by Apple as they have spelled it out. So let's see what happens. If you want to read more about that, you can check out the App Store review guidelines here. We'll link to that in the description. And Calendar 2 returns to Mac App Store after Apple takedown. Developer to put cryptocurrency mining proceeds towards improved features. Now guys, big news of the day. Coinbase finally announced the next coin will be listed, Ethereum Classic. In a shocking announcement, Coinbase reveals the next asset to be listed in their platform, Ethereum Classic, ETC. We plan to offer support for Ethereum Classic in all geographies where the asset is compliant with local law. Great. So they announced today that they're going to be putting this out. It's not something that's going to be implemented immediately because, as it states here, it will take a few months for them to properly integrate the coin into their platform. Ethereum Classic is the original Ethereum. Technically, yeah, as Ethereum, as we call it today, forked off of the Ethereum chain in June 2016 after the DAO hack. Any investor that held Ethereum on GDAX at the time of the fork in 2016 will be credited ETC when the coin is listed later this year. Not too bad. So, of course, there was some controversy when Coinbase added Bitcoin Cash, and obviously a lot of people caught wind of that decision. A lot of people acted on that rumor. They bought the rumor, they sold the news. There was a lot of price manipulation. So I think what they're doing here is commendable. After the Bitcoin Cash fiasco, Coinbase said that any personnel who knew about the company's plans to add ETC were subject to a trading blackout. I think that's a good move, and hopefully that roots out any at least perceived conflicts of interest. So for those of you in the altcoin buzz army, we'd love to hear whether you're holding Ethereum Classic. Did you have some prior to this announcement? It's up a good 15, almost 20% today, actually, in response to this news. So definitely some good price movement on Ethereum Classic. Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this. It's definitely something that is something that's going to be having an impact in the future. Leave a comment for Chris as well. Also, something that I forgot to mention here. Also in this announcement, they talk about the future intentions to add potentially ERC20 tokens as well as Bitcoin forks. So that's something else to look out for. Coinbase is a giant in the space, guys. So this is going to have reverberations any which way you look at it. Do be sure to check out their tweet here. So Coinbase says, we are pleased to announce our intention to add support for Ethereum Classic on Coinbase in the coming months. And you can read about that here on, what is this, Medium? No, blog.coinbase.com. So our process for adding new assets to Coinbase in GDAX, March 2018 update. So from a little while ago. And in other news, Binance to add fiat support. Article here by Chris. So Binance CEO Xiao Zhanpeng declares that there will be euro to crypto trading, euro to crypto on the platform later this year with more currencies to come. That's very good news. According to Binance CEO Xiao Zhanpeng, Binance will allow euro to crypto trading later this year with other fiat currencies on the horizon. Earlier this year, Binance moved their headquarters, as we've been covering, from Hong Kong to Malta due to regulation issues. And Zhao said that one of the best, talking about Malta, it's one of the best places for blockchain firms. Binance is the largest exchange by volume. And so this kind of pairing could really be big in terms of the crypto space. So this news comes after Zhao announced on Twitter on June 6th that Binance has opened their first bank account in Malta, bringing them closer to successfully allowing a fiat to crypto exchange. Later in the interview, he hinted at a potential collaboration with Malta's traditional equities stock exchange. And we can go back. We're going to link to this article where Zhao talked about in the past. He said he's very confident that we can announce a banking partnership here soon in Malta. And it looks like that's developing as well. We also have another article talking about how they're more profitable for one quarter in 2018 than Deutsche Bank. So very, very big moves by Binance here. And I mean, this is all happening really in a time of maximum retracement for 2018 in this market that we're seeing. So despite really suboptimal conditions, I mean, they are just rolling and they just want to take over the world seemingly. So do be sure to check out these articles here on Bloomberg. Crypto giant Binance to offer euro trading pairs this year. Some of our previous coverage here, an article by Sebastian from back in March. Binance is moving to Europe and opening a fiat to crypto exchange. And you have Mr. CZ on Twitter, step by step. Exclusive, world's top crypto exchange Binance set up bank account in Malta. And you have here, again on Bloomberg, this is going back a little bit, so back to March, world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange is heading to Malta. You can read all about that here, including this last one, a former article that we put out. Cryptocurrency exchange Binance is more profitable than biggest bank in Germany. This is one of the first articles I covered in the daily news. So article here by Daniel, just talking about how Binance's quarterly profits are really quite something, comparable to one of the largest institutional European banks. So let's see what happens, but a euro trading pair would be fantastic, and that could open the door to other possibilities as well. You never know. So guys, that's about it for the news today. Do be sure you're following us on Altcoin Buzz News on Twitter. You're going to get the latest updates that way. If you like this video, guys, do me a favor, click the like button, click the thumbs up, and make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. We have new content every day. You're going to be alerted to our new content that way. Leave a comment, guys. Lots of news today, lots of exciting developments. Let us know how it affects you. Let us know your thoughts one way or the other. Are you an Apple hater like me? Are you an Apple lover? Would love to hear your perspective on that. So with that, guys, I wish you a great day, great start to your week. Happy trading, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.